4027.
Recent high surf advisories had some grabbing their surfboards to hit the waves. And while these conditions look like fun, they also create dangers that surfers and swimmers don't realize. Reporter Margaret Sharp explains.
I just was swimming with my friends and we were in the wrong place.
And Portillo was in the wrong place because he was in the middle of a rip current and he couldn't get out.
It was pretty scary after the moment. We didn't realize we were caught in it until the lifeguard told us to come in.
Portillo and his friends were trying to get off a sandbar and swim to shore when lifeguard Jeff Monroe saw them caught in the current.
And as I hit the water, the other two lost their footing as well, and everybody was going backwards in the rip current.
It felt scary because I was about to pass out right before Jeff Monroe got to me.
Luckily, Monroe is good at his job, and in this line of work, saving swimmers from rip currents is a common occurrence.
I would say 95% of all of our rescues are due to rip currents.
Rip currents occur when water left over from breaking waves on shore rushes in a narrow path back to the sea. That water's force causes the rip current, which creates a channel underwater.
It kind of creates a double jeopardy for the swimmer because it's deep enough where they can't put their feet down, and then it also moves them backwards away from the shore.
Lifeguards suggest swimming parallel to shore to get out of the rip current. If you still can't get out, they suggest relaxing and letting the current take you out a little and putting your arms up for help. One thing they stress, do not panic.
Well, a lot of times panic starts to set in with people because they're not making any progress, and their breathing changes. They'll start to swallow water because it's very choppy.
Los Angeles County lifeguards rescue an average of 10,000 people each year, many of which are from rip currents. But one person who won't need to be rescued again is Portillo, since he learned his lesson the hard way.
You know, you swim parallel to it, which they taught me in swimming school, but I didn't remember it until I almost drowned. I'll remember it forever now.
So remember, if you find yourself in the middle of a rip current, the best thing you can do is swim parallel to shore. It's one thing that you can do to prevent yourself from being in need of a rescue. For City Cable 3, I'm Margaret Sharp.
Thanks, Margaret. You may be able to see a rip current from the beach. Experts say to keep an eye out for narrow, muddy streaks in the ocean where there aren't any waves breaking or where the waves break shorter and steeper than others. And if you're in doubt, stay out of the water.
Last week, we showed you how Torrance police use new technology to solve crimes. Now, in part 2 of this month's Community Safety Watch, Lieutenant Mark Athan tells us how the department is using technology to reach the community. Let's join reporter Alexis Sita at the Torrance Police Department.
Externally, you're also utilizing some new technologies to reach out to the community.
Yes.
And let's first start with what a PSN is.
Okay, a PSN, that's an acronym for Public Safety Notification. Internally here within the city, whenever there's a critical incident, and that could be something from as simple as an intersection being blacked out, which is we consider critical, it's a safety hazard, all the way to officers doing a perimeter search for a burglary suspect in a neighborhood where maybe even a school got put on lockdown. So what happens is when these critical incidents occur, internally there's a public safety notification that is sent out to all managers and all members of the city, employees. So what we do now, the Community Affairs Division, what we do is we take that PSN and we push it out to the community through 2 mediums. We push it out through Twitter and we push it out through an email alert system. So any citizen who subscribes to our Twitter page or who subscribes to our email alert system would in turn get that immediately public safety notification.
So how did things work in the past? If I noticed some police activity, how would I get this information to find out what was actually going on?
You know, in years past, it was always flooding our dispatch center with calls. You know, people would call our 911 center or just call the general number for the police department and specifically ask, hey, what's going on over here? And what that was doing was flooding our 911 operators with people just calling with general inquiries rather than freeing them up to answer calls for first responders to respond to emergencies. So we're trying to encourage them to subscribe to these 2 electronic medias to get their information instead of flooding our call centers with questions of just wanting to know what's going on.
And the great thing about using the Twitter feed as a resident or a community member here is that you're getting all this information in real time. So you're not going to have to wait by calling dispatch on hold to find out this information, you're getting it a lot faster.
Correct. So if you subscribe to our feed and we push out a PSN through our mobile, you'll receive it immediately on your mobile device.
Okay, let's take a look at the Twitter feed that the police department has.
So this is what our Twitter feed looks like. Currently, we only have 576 followers, but we're hoping that grows daily. We had a perimeter going, searching for a burglary suspect, and we had Hickory School on lockdown. So as soon as Hickory School went on lockdown and the information started coming out from our dispatch, we in turn right away pushed it out to Twitter. So parents who, if they were subscribing to this Twitter feed and they went to Hickory School, they would already know why they couldn't go get their child or why the school was on lockdown, because they got the Twitter notification that that's exactly what's going on.
So it really is an invaluable source for parents if you want to know what's happening, especially if you have school-aged children, because right here it gives you all the information that you need. And how often is this updated? Is the page updated?
It's updated only as we push it out. So as incidents happen, we push it out. So if there's nothing happening for a couple days, there might not be any updated feeds. But not only do we try to put the PSNs on Twitter, we try to put a lot of other community outreach things that we do on Twitter as well.
Okay, and then you also have, as sort of a marketing tool, your Facebook page. So what would go on Facebook?
We're trying to utilize Facebook right now to really market the brand of the Torrance Police Department. So there's a lot of programs here that are offered by the police department that you can find on our webpage that we try to highlight or spotlight on the Facebook page. So if we have a teens in policing academy going on, or an adult academy going on here, or the department's involved in the Relay for Life or cancer, different community outreach things that we're doing, we'll try to receive some photos from these events, and then we'll post them up onto Facebook, trying to encourage not only just to have followers on Facebook, but also to encourage people to come participate with us, and also utilize the free services that are available through the police department.
So why are police officers in the department in general, why are you all embracing this technology?
Our department is young. Our department is now bleeding over into what is referred to as Generation Z, or the Z generation, sometimes commonly referred to as the small I generation, to where they were all brought up with technology, and we're just trying to keep up with this influx of this Z generation or I generation.
Great. Well, that's all great information, and we should encourage all Torrance residents and community members to subscribe to the Twitter feed and the Facebook page if they want to really be in the know and have access to this information. Well, thank you, Lieutenant Mark Athan, for joining us on this edition of our Community Safety Watch. We will be back next month with more important safety information in the Torrance community. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Alexa. And remember, if you have questions about safety, crime trends, or how the police department works, we can get you those answers. Send them to thisweek@TorranceCA.Gov or call us at 310-618-5762. In addition to your question, please tell us your name and what area of Torrance you're from, and we'll try to have the police department answer it on the show. Coming up after the break, if you don't tip, well, we'll tell you why you should start.
Now here's your 5-day forecast.